Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what has happened to the stock, what I personally expect moving forward, and all that good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. But if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, updates, etc., well, I do share these updates as I see them, as the market is trading pretty much throughout the actual trading day itself. Every single day, the market is open in my YouTube membership section. The link is down below to that in the description of the video. We'd love to have you there for just $3 a month. You can access all my thoughts, posts, updates, mainly on Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks. Like I've been sharing AMD. I actually shared Apple the other day, which by the way, I still think looks pretty good. And yeah, I share those thoughts every single day. Definitely check it out. Or for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. But also you get access to my NVIDIA daily updates there as well, where again, I'm constantly sharing updates on the charts throughout the trading day, every single day. So you get it right away, essentially. Anyway, jumping into it though, again, if you like it, don't forget to hit that like button, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a financial advisor, all that stuff. I don't know if I said it or not. But anyway, jumping into it, NVIDIA closing the day down 1.1%. I mean, not the worst thing in the world, I guess you can say, right? It was down obviously more in the bottom part of the day. It actually kind of almost flipped Tesla. Tesla actually started off really well and it only got weaker as the day progressed. But arguably, you can say NVIDIA got a little bit stronger towards the end of the day, where the last 15 minutes of the day actually looked pretty decent. Nice buying pressure came in the last 15 minutes, which I'd like to see. So what does this actually mean moving forward for the stock? This poor stock where everyone was FOMOing in up here, and now everyone is scared down here, right? What does this mean, right? What does this mean actually moving forward? Well, I mean, honestly, not much has changed since my yesterday's thoughts and analysis, right? Because ultimately what we're doing is, well, we're still holding a very crucial level, this overall massive trend line, which can hold quite a lot of selling pressure, right? Can potentially be very powerful spot for a reversal, right? And so far we're continuing to do that, right? We're continuing to find buyers there, less convincing today than yesterday, but nonetheless we're still having that wick down below, and we're still finding those buyers in the low 130s to the high 120s, which is a nice sign to see, right? That's good. So as long as we continue doing that, and essentially as long as we ideally hold 129, but especially 127, I think it's looking pretty good. Now below 127, less good, right? Obviously less good, less convincing. Things could potentially be a little bit more spooky for sure. But more specific if we close below, right? Obviously you can have, fake outs, you can have little quick moves and snapshots back up like that. Those happen all the time. But if we close below and especially continue holding below for the next day or two after that, it'll start getting more convincing that, yeah, it's not, the bulls just aren't as strong as, maybe we would have hoped for, I guess you can say. Anyways, however, with all that being said, let's take a look at overall the structure, right? So the structure is interesting, right? I mean, we know NVIDIA has been pretty much going sideways, right? It's been going sideways for quite some time in this massive area of consolidation, which has been, an option seller's dream for the most part, really. Sell options or buy down here, sell it up here, right? That's pretty much been the name of the game for quite some time. And, we're pretty much back down to those levels once again. Now, granted, we're not at the bottom Bollinger Bands on the daily chart, despite us touching it on the 4-hour chart yesterday and still pretty close to it on the 4-hour chart. We're not still that far from it. The 4-hour chart actually doesn't look bad, right? And the reason it doesn't look bad is because the 4-hour chart shows the RSI, hugging the bottom end of the oversold territory, which again, every time it's done that, it's obviously done, well, not that long after it's found bounces, right? Every single time it's found bounces. And I expect no different here. I expect no difference here. I expect the bounce to come in shortly, sooner than later. And I'll talk about those levels very soon. But the 4-hour chart, again, not looking too bad. Stochastic starting to curl also as well. So it's not looking, not looking too bad. Stochastic on the daily, obviously a little bit less convincing with that bearish crossover, and it's kind of pointing straight down. So that could be part of the reason why, we're not finding any true legs, if you will, for the bulls. But that can always change pretty easily. All it takes is a nice day, especially like CPI tomorrow. That could be it. Now, one thing I did notice that I've been looking at these candles is the fact that today's and yesterday's price action, and really just in general the price action we've been seeing recently, looks very similar to this price action right here, right? Very similar, where in the sense that, massive sell-off, right? And then we had, what looked to be a pretty spooky candle, but it ended up recovering pretty decently, which was essentially arguably yesterday. And then just for the next day to have a nice gap up, right? Ultimately to fade and close near the bottom of the day, which is exactly what we're doing right now, though it's a little bit better than that time back here, which was December 18th. It's looking pretty similar. It's looking pretty damn similar to this overall setup that we're seeing, right? Very, very similar. So if we potentially get a gap up into CPI tomorrow, which I think, there's a good chance we could, and then we still close a sideways day like this, or inside day like this, I mean, that's gonna look very similar, isn't it? So let's see if this looks like that, right? Let's see if this actually plays out in this kind of similar fashion, right? And this was also all happening while NVIDIA was cross bearish on the stochastic as well. Now, again, don't forget, it doesn't mean that the stochastic has to come all the way back down to this level. For instance, back here, we crossed bearish, we had ugly looking candles. NVIDIA always has these very scary looking candles, and it has like a couple days after that where it almost seems like it makes it seem like it wants to recover just for it to fade. But then it finally recovers like a day or two after. Like it does this pretty often. The stock likes to really make these kind of situations happen. And that's kind of what happened back here where the stochastic also looked like, man, it's cross bearish and it's all the way up here. That's not good. Just for us to pump into it after, right? So again, the point I'm trying to make here is the stochastic doesn't always have to, go from the upper end to the bottom end, upper end to the bottom. It's not always that simple. Anyway, so that's kind of the thoughts there, I guess, for the most part, right? I mean, ultimately, this probably will come down to CPI and how the market digests it. But based on what I'm seeing right now, we're closer to a bottom than not, right? We're holding, a crucial level so far, which is, a nice sign to see. And I do want to really find a nice strong bounce from this general level. I want to start closing daily candles above 133 to 134. That'll show some nice, bullish pressure finally coming back into the stock, because this area, of course, was an obvious area of resistance and support in the past. And, I think it can do it. I think it can do it. I think, again, the thing with NVIDIA is like too many people want this thing to fall, right? Because everyone wants to buy the stock cheaper. Like who doesn't want to buy NVIDIA cheaper? Who isn't sitting there waiting for NVIDIA to fall back down to, let's say, 100 or even below 100 to buy cheaper? Everyone is waiting for that. Is the market going to let that happen at least anytime soon? Maybe, but maybe not, right? You never know. So anyway, that's kind of my overall perspective on the stock right now and how it's looking, right? Obviously, the weekly candle is looking, and my God, the weekly candle is not looking great, but we still have 3 days in the week, including potentially a big day tomorrow. So it's way too early to judge it just yet. But just strictly off the dailies, right? It's, again, not looking that bad so far. So far, obviously things can change with CPI tomorrow, but so far, yeah, I don't think it's looking bad. We just need to see how the market digests it. Again, whenever you're close to the bottom of the Bollinger Band and the RSI is at or in, well into oversold territories, it's been a pretty good indicator almost every single time. Almost every single time. Is this time going to be any different? Maybe. Who knows? Nobody knows. But so far, in at least this sideways chop, it's been a pretty damn good indicator. And I'm sure people were scared each and every single time at these levels. So let's see. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see what actually happens. Let's see how the market digests CPI. Let's see what actually comes into fruition with and all whatnot. But in the meantime, let's take a look at options flow. Let's see what's happening over here with the stock. Nice little calls actually came in towards the end of the day. Not too bad for the market in general. Yeah, NVIDIA, let's take a look. So overall, the bullish flow did outweigh the bearish flow throughout the day. Nice looking calls came in today on NVIDIA right here. You can see about almost 1.5 million, we'll say, in calls right here. Highly unusual. Why? Because they're both above the ask. They're both out of the money. This was back when NVIDIA was at 131. These are 143 and 145 calls, almost 1.5 million in calls, like 1.2.5-ish million, we'll say, in calls came in on NVIDIA when it was at 131, which is pretty much where it's closed right now. Both out of the money, 143, 145 strike, and for January 31st. That's not very far away, guys. I mean, January 31st, that's like 2 weeks and a bit, right? 2.5 weeks out. That's not very far. For this kind of money, that is pretty unusual. That is highly unusual, which is why it's highlighted blue, which is why I like Charter Flow. It highlights these kind of, more interesting ones, more nicely. You had a 1.4 million call above the ask come in here when NVIDIA was at 132, also pretty much roughly where we are right now. February 21st, only a month away, 160 strike. Either someone's lighting money on fire and they should just send it to me instead, or someone knows something. I mean, who knows, right? We'll see. But I like to see these kind of things. These are the kind of options flows that I like to see. It's, again, I don't base my trades off of that, but it doesn't hurt to see it. It definitely doesn't hurt to see it. In terms of confirmed bearish flow, NVIDIA is confirmed bearish flow of 8 million, which again, for NVIDIA is essentially nothing. That's like pocket change for NVIDIA. It's nothing. So I don't know. That's my overall analysis on the stock. Again, spooky candles. The market's not going to make it easy. It's not just going to, casually gap up and everyone's happy and everyone bought the dip and congratulations, thumbs up. It'll make these fake outs both ways. It'll make things difficult. It'll make you second guess things. That's just how the market goes. The idea is just, ignore the noise. Ignore the noise, and worst case scenario, just continue buying your favorite stocks. And I'm sure years from now, you'll be happy you did. But all in all, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.